Hey everyone, George here, and today I will talk about a deck that has a girl too busy to get all her clothes on. Yep, I'm talking about Poison in Paradise Eva. So, this is another Brandt Gate deck, and I think it's a very strong and easy deck to use. So, it may be actually very good for someone starting to play the game that wants to have something that is kind of competitive and actually simple to remember and to play with. So, yeah, without any further to do, let's get started with the Rideline. So, this will be the Rideline. As usual, the Grade Zero doesn't have a very unique effect. The effect is the same as the other ones. However, this Rideline actually requires you to play this specific Grade Zero. So, as for the grade 1s and the grade 2s, basically they have the same effect. They require you to write on top of the previous version of herself to search your deck for one research set order card. And also, this is going to be introducing another keyword, which is going to be glitter. And basically, glitter is like a second effect for most of these cards, which is going to be active only if your Vanguard has this same keyword. So most of the cards in this deck will have, the most important cards in this deck will have two effects mainly. The first effect is kind of like generic, and the second effect is more specific for this archetype. The first effect basically can be used on any deck. However, the second is going to be active only when you're playing this with in a deck that has a Vanguard with the glitter keyword. And in some cases, it also requires you to have the specific name. So yeah, this is basically the Rideline, grade 0, grade 1, and grade 2, just evolutions of the same card. Now, we're going to talk about the grade 3, which is Fountain of Knowledge Eva. So basically, this has two effects. The first one is that it's an activated ability, so you can use it anytime, except during the battle phase, and basically you counter +1 and you can check two cards from your deck equal to same amount of research cards, and you can add just one among those cards to your hand, and this unit will get basically 5000 power. And it has another effect. On attack, you can counter +1 and soul +1, and you can search for an Obscudate unit from your deck or your hand and call it to rearguard. So yeah, actually this is a very important card, the Obscudate unit. I will be talking about it later. So basically the whole deck is going to be revolving around calling that unit specifically. So yeah, anyways, this is basically your main ride or grade 3 ride. However, this deck actually has another grade 3 Vanguard, which will be also kind of like main Vanguard, which is going to be Poison in Paradise Eva. So, well, basically this has a slightly different effect. The first part is when you place this on top of the original Eva or the previous one, you can search your deck for one research card and add it to your hand, but also you can activate your Persona Ride. Basically, you write this on top of the previous one and you get Persona Ride even if they don't have the same name. And it has another effect, which is kind of similar to the previous one, and it is when it attacks, you have to bind the original Eva from your soul, and you can search your deck, your hand, or your drop for one card with Obscudate on its name, and you can call it to rearguard, and then the Eva and Obscudate will get 5000 power. So these are like the three main differences. The search here is going to also include the drop zone. The previous one doesn't include drop zone. The cost is also different. In this case, it doesn't require you to counter +1. It actually just requires you to bind the original Eva from your soul. And also it's going to give 5000 power to both this unit and the cold unit. The other Eva just gives the 5000 to the cold unit. And at the end of the turn, basically this will be you have to ride the bound card on top of this one as rest. So you will go back to the original Eva. So basically the main strategy here is to get the first grade 3 ride, and then you have to find a way to ride on top of that one, this one, and then call the Obscudate, and at the end of the turn just return to the previous Eva. So yeah, that's kind of like the most general idea of this deck. So this is basically your most important card, and there are two more cards that I would say are also a little bit or kind of as important as this one. Anyways, so now I'm going to talk about some of the support cards, and I'm going to start with the orders. The first one is going to be the Grade 3 order, and this is the World is a Blue Research Lab. Very nice name, I suppose. And this is going to be a very good card for searching, because when you play this, you can search top 5 cards for one unit, and you can just call one. And it has another effect on the order zone, and it's going to be Soul Blast 1 and rest 3 of your research cards. And after you rest that, you can choose one unit with glitter, and it gets 5,000 power. This second effect, you basically want to use it every single turn, because the power is actually very good, but also there's another card that I'm going to be talking about later that actually benefits a lot from this second effect. So yeah, this is actually, if you don't have the Grade 3 order in your hand, you want to kind of search it. If not, there are other priorities for your Grade 1 or your Grade 2 rides. So this is just a good card in general to have. Also, you play a lot of this. Anyways, the second one I'm going to talk about is the Grade 1 order, which is result of the experiment henceforth. And this card is going to give your Obscudate immunity to retired, and you will see later why that is important. And also, it has another effect. You can just put this card into your soul, and you get to countercharge 1. So basically, this is going to be your main countercharge card. However, this is not really a priority card. To be honest, you don't usually play this unless you really need your countercharge, because even with the new Eva, even if your Obscudate are retired, you can just call them back later from your drop zone. But outside of that, yeah, I think this is a good card, but not so super necessary to play, at least not a priority. Anyways, now I will be talking about the Grade 3s, and this is Knight of Blackness Obscudate. This is the one card the whole deck will be revolving around outside of the Poison in Paradise Eva. So this is going to be your main finisher and your main defense, everything actually. So what this does is, on attack, this is going to get 10,000 power. So yeah, it's just 23,000 power attack. However, it has another effect. First, the turn it gets called, it's going to get +1 critical if it was called because of a card effect. So if you call this with Eva, or if you call this with any order or any other unit, it's going to be a 23,000 power attacker with 2 critical. And also, it has another effect. This unit will get 10,000 shield, and it also can intercept. So yeah, the main point of this deck is just getting very huge Obscudate and hitting for 2 criticals. That's basically basically it. You will get up to 4 attacks in this deck, but one of them is going to always have, at least one of them is going to be having critical extra. So now I'm going to talk about the other version of the Obscudate. This is the Grade 2 version, and it has also 2 effects. The first one is this is going to be a 10,000 shield and also a 15,000 attacker. And it has another effect, which I think is probably one of the most important. When it attacks, it will be attacking the whole front row units. For this, of course, you need to have 3 research cards in your order zone, and also this effect is only when the turn is called, and it has to be called by a card effect. But actually, what you most of the time want to do is just attack with this guy first, so you get rid of the intercepts, and then you can attack with the other rear guard that you have in your front row. Then you go with Eva, and basically you call the Grade 3 Obscudate and give it extra critical and extra power. So yeah, it's just a very good card to get rid of intercepts and those annoying front rows sometimes. Now we will have the third card that I think is also the most important, which is Examination Monster Imigrar. Now this one is a promo card. I think it's already been released in English version, and you definitely need this card to make this deck work as optimal as possible. Because basically what this is going to do is, if you have a grade 3 Vanguard with Eva, you can put this guy into your soul, and you can search your deck for one Poison in Paradise Eva and ride it as a stand. However, the Poison in Paradise Eva has an effect that says when she's rode on top of the original Eva, you can activate Persona Ride. However, this guy is not going to allow that, at least not on the first grade 3 turn. That would be just too strong. Yeah, so what's going to happen is the turn you ride that, if it's your first grade 3 turn, you cannot activate Persona Ride. However, from that turn on, then you can activate anytime you use this guy's effect. So why is this important? Because sometimes you don't have Eva in your hand to activate Persona Ride, and also you can just Persona Ride at any point in the whole turn, except during battle phase, of course, because this is an activate ability. And also, this card is a very good discard fodder because it has another effect, and it's from the drop zone. Basically, when you play a research card, you can Energy Blast 3 and call this card to your rear card. It's going to get 2000 power. So basically what you want to do is just search for this card as soon as possible, and you can just ditch it at any point during your turn. And you can play an order and then just call it and activate its effect after. So yeah, this is a really amazing and very strong card, and definitely a 4 off. This is your highest, probably one of your highest priorities for searching. And I'm going to talk about one of the cards that you will use to search this one later. Now, another of the just good cards to have here, I think, is the Freezing Wave. This card is actually very amazing for defense because it's going to give your Vanguard 10,000 power for each resting order in your order zone. So if you remember, there's the grade 3 order that allows you to rest 3 orders, and just instantly this was a 30,000 shield, kind of. And actually there's other ways you can rest your order so it can even get higher shield power. So yeah, it's just that defensive order, and that is really good. This is the other order that I think is probably your highest priority for searching during the grade 1, your grade 2 turns. It's the Torrential Energy Research. So basically when you put this order, basically you will do check top 5 cards of your deck, and amongst those 5 you can choose 2 monster cards, and you will add one to your hand and the other one will go to the drop zone. So basically all your grade 1s are monsters here, so basically you will be searching for your grade 1s. Even there's a PG that you can search. It's a monster grade 1 PG. It's from Trial Decks, I think, and recently was also reprinted in Japan as a promo for the volume 4. So yeah, you can just play this order and search for your grade 1 Imigrar and send it to your drop zone directly, or if you need it in your hand for some reason, you can also add it to your hand directly and then use it. So yeah, this is actually very, very good. And also you can rest this card in your order zone to choose one monster from your drop zone and put it into your order zone. Honestly, this effect is not necessary for the deck to work because you don't call your monsters from your order zone. However, the resting is just going to be useful for your defensive turn. So yeah, it's generally it's probably the highest priority card to search during grade 1 to grade 3, and it's just really good card. And then we will have the grade 2s that are kind of more outside of the archetype, which will be the first one, Combined Rusher. Basically, this is going to be a 20,000 attacker if you have 2 or more set orders. So yeah, it's just really good. And also, if you every time you play on a set order from your hand, you can counterblast 1 and call this one from your drop zone. So basically, you want to discard this or have at least 1 in your drop zone as soon as possible. So basically, this deck is not going to be running the discard fodders that cycle the cards and draw you 1 when you discard them for riding or for guarding, because you really don't need them so much, really. If you have Combined Rusher or Immigrar, those are your main priorities to discard. So yeah, basically, hey, 8 of your cards or 7 of your cards are these guys, and some of them are even searchable. So yeah, this is just a very good card for your grade 2 turn and also for your grade 3 turn. That way you don't have to call so many cards from your hand. And the only thing here is that it uses a counterblast, but actually this deck doesn't really use that many. So actually that is in a way kind of a important point, because you don't really use so many counterblasts, so sometimes it's kind of difficult to keep track on your counters, and suddenly you just notice you don't have enough. You can countercharge, of course, with the order, but it's better to avoid that kind of situation, because yeah, you're better playing other orders. Anyways, so Combined Rusher, it's very good generic card, and I think you should play it. Now there's another grade 1 card. This is probably the least important one. There's Obliging Monster Secondel. Basically, it has one effect that when it's placed on rear guard, you can just return a normal unit from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck. And if it was grade 3 or higher, you can Soul Blast 3 and draw a card. So basically, this guy is going to return your Poison in Paradise from your drop zone to your bottom deck. And this effect is probably only useful when you don't have any more Poison in Paradise in your deck and there's nothing else that you want to search, because if you are searching, you're just shuffling your deck and increasing the chances for you to just drive check grade 3 blank card. And actually, you probably don't want to see your Poison in Paradise in your hand. So yeah, this is just kind of like a last resort kind of card. If you don't have it anymore, you call this and just put it on another Eva in your deck. So yeah, in general, it's good, but just be careful when you use it. Also, Soul Blast 3 is a little bit heavy. Anyways, yeah, this is basically it for the main deck. There's another card. There's 2 more cards actually. These are, I don't personally use them, but I've seen some people use them. The first one is Reception Monster Wavy Loss. This guy, it's just 13,000 booster, and it draws you a card when it's placed. So yeah, it's fine, I suppose, but honestly, I'd rather play some other stuff. There's not so much more for it, and maybe I think it's more useful in Archetype. I don't really know how to say this name, but it's still a monster, so you can search it if you want with a set order. And this one, usually I don't include Sentinels in the deck list because it's kind of obvious, the ones that you want to play. However, in this deck, it's important to notice that this one is a monster in its card name. So you can actually search this card with your set orders. So that's why I am including it here. It's just another search target, and that basically makes it so all of your grade 1s are searchable with that order. So yeah, you can just add this one to your hand at any point with the set order. That's pretty much it. The effect is just normal Sentinel, except that if it's the last card in your hand, you cannot use it to guard. So yeah. Now, as for the triggers, here I'm not running any draw triggers. Maybe you can run if you want, but honestly, I don't think it's so necessary, because you have to prioritize having your front row hitting very hard. And yeah, I'm playing just 4 heal triggers and 3 front triggers. The defense is also very good. but it's nice to have Eva hitting hard and also your Obscudates hitting very hard because they already have extra critical most of the time. And I'm playing also 8 criticals because more criticals is just better. And as for over triggers, I think the Brandt Gate over trigger is probably the best one for this one because most of the time your units already have extra criticals, so just doubling the power and doubling the critical, it's just too strong, I think. So yeah, you can probably try the purple one. I think I tried it maybe once or twice. I never got to actually activate it during my turns, but I can see how it could be good because if you have, for example, an Obscurate grade 3 in your damage zone and you call it because of the over trigger, it still activates the extra critical effect and it gets also the power and the shield. So it may be also good, but honestly, I think this one is already very great card. So yeah. Now, as for Regalis piece, this deck really doesn't need any Regalis piece. It plays already many orders during your turn. Your order play is already used in those set orders. So no Regalis piece during your turn, and also no defensive Regalis piece because I am playing the Freezing Wave one. It's a Blitz order, so yeah, probably there's no space for that. And normally I think Brandt Gate doesn't really play so many Regalis piece. Usually they are very busy playing orders every single turn. So yeah, basically no Regalis piece here in this deck. But if you want, you can try, of course, that's your call. So now I'm going to be talking about one, like the most important interaction here, and that is your first grade 3 turn. Basically what you will do is ride your Vanguard, and then you can activate Eva's effect, the first one. You can counterblast one and call one card from among them. She will get 5,000 power, but also she will be losing them later. And let's say let's say you have you play one research. You can call the Immigrant from your drops onto your field, or you can call it from your hand, and then you can activate Immigrant to put it into your soul, and then you superior ride Poison in Paradise Eva. Eva will allow you to do another search for another order, and on attack with this one, you can call the Obscurate and she will get 5,000 power, and Obscurate will also get 5,000 power. Now, it's important again to remember if it's your first grade 3 turn, Poison in Paradise doesn't activate the Persona Ride. However, if the Fountain of Knowledge Eva is already in your Vanguard from a previous turn, the Persona Ride is activated. So yeah, so that's why if you don't have Immigrant in your hand or in your drop zone, it's a little bit complicated to actually have the better turn, I think. But still manageable. However, yeah, I think this deck relies a lot in this card to actually work as well as possible. But there's many ways to search for it, even with Eva, with Order, or just draw it. Anyways, and of course the Obscurate will get 1 critical and 10,000 power plus 5,000 power, and yeah, it's just good. It's very strong. For a first grade 3 turn is very, very amazing. Now I'm here adding the Freezing Wave interaction. So basically the World is a Blue Research Lab and Torrential Energy Research are the 2 cards that will be allowing you to increase this card's power. So basically the World is a Blue Research Lab is going to rest 3 research cards, and actually you want to use this every single turn. First of all, because the effect is good. Just 5,000 power to something, it's never bad. But also the 3 research card rest is already means your Freezing Wave is going to be defending with at least 30,000 power. And also you can use Torrential Energy Research to place 1 monster in your order zone, and it's going to be just an extra 10,000 shield power for your freezing wave. So yeah, it's just a very neat and useful interaction that you can have there if in case you need it. So yeah, that's it. So this is just going to be one deck example this time, because I think all of these cards are already released in English. As you can see here, I'm not playing any discard fodders, any cyclers, and I'm not playing any draws either. Here I chose to use 2 heal triggers of each one, the special defender cards, the one for critical and the one for stance. And I'm using here the over trigger, playing 4 grade 3 obscudate, 3 grade 2 obscudate. The combined rusher is not searchable, so I'm playing 3 here because you have better chance to draw it and just have it in your drop zone for grade 2. And yeah, the other cards are just 4 offs almost every time. There's many ways for you to keep playing the obscudate. Basically, the only bad case scenario now with the new Eva is if you get your obscudate banished. But if it's not banished, you can basically search it from your hand or your deck or your drop zone. So it's all okay like this. And yeah, this is just a general deck. Also 2 freezing wave, I think it's just good. And the order cards, yeah, it's fine. So again, as I mentioned, as conclusions for this deck, it's actually very simple, very straightforward. So basically, you just have to attack with your front row, then you attack with your Vanguard, and then you attack again with obscudate. So then basically, this deck doesn't really require a lot of counterblast. There's only 2 cards here that require counterblast. And yeah, so the first grade 3 turn can be hitting really hard, especially that extra that 23. No, wait, because it gets another 5,000, 28,000 power with double critical from the obscudate, and also can have even 4 attacks on the first turn. So yeah, it's already very strong, plus triggers. So yeah. Now it's very consistent because you can search for the orders that you need also from turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3. So you have at least 1 card to be playing on your orders on every single turn. And that's great. If you end up drawing the cards that you want to search, you can just search something else that you may need later. And also it filters a lot. The whole time you're searching your Poison in Paradise, you're searching your Obscudate, you are searching your monster cards. So basically you're just lowering your cards and you're increasing the chance for you to hit triggers during your drive checks. And again, it's just very straightforward and simple deck to use. So if you're a new player, maybe this is a good deck to get started with. Even if you don't have the most optimal plays with your Imidrar, I think this deck's still good. Maybe you don't get as much power as you would like to, but again, still very easy to play. So yeah. Now, as for bad things, this deck has very high consistency, but I think if you want to have the highest power or the better plays, you really need to have Imidrar as much as possible in your hand or in your drop zone. So yeah, that's a kind of bad point here. Also, the Persona Ride relies a lot on discard, and usually you don't want to have your Poison in Paradise in your hand, because that would basically force you to ride on top of the previous Eva during your ride phase. So yeah, anyways, now if you go second, the power may be not so amazing. This deck is shining the most when it goes first, because if you're getting to your first grade 3 turn, your opponent still 10,000 power, so it gets you more chances to hit better numbers. And also, of course, your highest power turn is on your second grade 3 turn. So yeah. And the last bad point, I think it's kind of predictable, again, because this is a very straightforward deck. If your opponent knows what you're going to do every single turn, they can just prepare for that. At least they know you will be calling Obscudates, and they're going to be hitting with double critical and a lot of power. So that makes the Vanguard not as scary, to be honest. So most of the time, when you're playing against it, you're saving your high power defense for the Obscudate, and you know it's coming. So yeah, anyways, that's basically it for this deck. I think it's very good deck. I really like it a lot. Actually, I think it has some tops recently, but personally, it's not something I often like to play. However, I can see how this could be appealing. Anyways, that's it for this deck review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you find it interesting. If you would like to build this deck, or you're interested in this one, or looking just for different builds or ideas, yeah, this I hope this was useful. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, feel free to leave like, comment if I'm missing something or if I'm just saying nonsense, and please share. That's the only way we can grow. If there's any other deck that you would like me to talk about, please let me know also in the comments. I'm also planning on making a video about how to guard efficiently. I haven't seen so many videos about that on the YouTube channels here, so maybe that would be a good idea to have just a short guide on how to prepare for your guarding. Anyways, that's it for now, and see you around next time. Bye bye.